In view of his reservations, is this still Meredith's march?
The march is taken in his name, as I understand. I mean, their basic premise is to help black people get rid of the fear, and that's what we're working with. We're working to understand that the only people who can deal with those problems are black people. They have to start dealing with them themselves. They can't depend on anybody. They can't depend on the federal government because it's jive. It's not going to do anything. They have to depend upon themselves.
What does this apparent disagreement among the leadership mean in gaining the objectives of the march?
Well, I don't see them as dissension. I see them as people pushing philosophies for which they think. And that what the white community has to understand is that black people are not going to listen to just one person, that there are diversity of philosophies within that community, and that certain people speak to it, and that they have to understand that, and that they can't pick the leaders. They can't pick anymore for us who our political leaders will be, or they can't pick for us who our leaders of the movement will be. We will pick them. I mean, my emphasis isn't this march. This march isn't what counts. The momentum from this march is what SNCC is going to deal with. We're going to use that momentum in the counties which we go through to organize black people to take over the political structures in those counties. They're going to seize the power in those counties.
In terms of this march, however, does the open discussion, dissension, disagreement among the leaders stemming from Mr. Meredith himself, does this work against the purposes of the march? Mr. Meredith said that this is not a nonviolence demonstration. Is that right?
Well, I don't know. What does he mean? I'm not sure. I haven't heard the statement at all, so I couldn't speak to it.
Do you feel that this should maintain a nonviolent attitude?
The march?
Yes.
Well, I'm not interested in violence or nonviolence in this country. I'm interested in black people getting certain things, that they get decent houses, that they get decent jobs, they have decent schools, and that they be able to participate in the decisions that affect their lives, and that's what we're concerned with.
Mr. Meredith was concerned, he said, that this not become an arena for what he called an experiment in black nationalism. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I don't know what he means by that. I wish he'd define the term for me because I'm not sure what it means.
What is black nationalism? Is that the philosophy of SNCC now?
I don't know. I don't know what the definition of that word is. If you can define it, then I can tell you whether or not that's what we are. And we've defined what our program is. We haven't put any labels on it. I will never tell anyone, any black person in Mississippi to lay down their guns because that's tantamount to suicide. I will never do that. I stand mute.
Are you apprehensive about the leadership of this march?
No. No, I'm not.
Does what has been called dissension or disagreement, the rotating leadership, work against the purposes of the march?
Undoubted. I think rotating leadership is a very healthy thing. It's perhaps the most healthy thing. And the whole country is founded on the principle of rotating leadership, that every 4 years people rotate. And I think that's very healthy. It's very contradictory to me that when SNCC rotates the leaders, that people see that as a coup. I mean, we rotate leaders every 4 years, and no one ever sees it as a coup in this country. Perhaps we need a couple of coups in this.
Who is leading this march?
Well, it seems to me that the people leading the march are the Civil Rights Organization, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, the Congress of Racial Equality, and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and the Freedom Democratic Party of Mississippi.
In terms of violence along the march, what is your philosophy in having Negroes armed for self-protection here in Mississippi while marching?
The country says a man has a right to protect his property and his life, and that's what I will never urge anyone to commit suicide. I think that suicide is an individual decision, and people should reach that by themselves. I'll never help urge them to commit suicide.
What does that mean in terms of the stated objectives of nonviolence in this march?
I don't know what the state objectives are. What are they?
That it is to be nonviolent.
Well, I understand that people who are on the march have adhered to that they don't carry guns while on the march. See, I want to say something about the whole tone of this march. I mean, there's those white troopers out there who are being so courteous and so nice and smiling. A week from now are going to be the same troopers who are going to be beating the hell out of black people. Like any ethnic group. That's what I'm concerned about. And take that power. And that they should. I mean, this country is fighting in Vietnam for free elections, and we're going to have to, if we're going to have to, then we'll just have to fight for free elections in the South.
In view of these widely varying views, is this still Meredith's march?
He hasn't spoken out against the march. He asked that the march be continued. I understand he's going to rejoin the march. You keep trying, you keep trying, you keep trying.
That's right.
I ain't going to do it. I tell you, I don't publicly take time out to attack anybody.
I'm not asking you to attack somebody. I want to find out whether or not this march is going to be able to achieve its objectives in terms of...
We're achieving it right now, man. We got people in each county the march going through. We're leaving people in Grenada County right now. We're achieving our objectives. I speak.
But what about the march objectives?
Well, that's part of the march objectives. That's why I joined the march.